I know it's not rocket science, but check this out. Functioning garage door. I have a lot to do out here to get the door operational. First and foremost, I want to crank up that spring so I can raise the door up. I've got to complete bracing on the rails so that when I put the door up, that the rails aren't going to collapse. And I've got to put the wires, hook in the wires at the bottom that are part of the lift system. So a lot to do. And I've got to find a way to get these 3 windows out of the back of the pickup truck. My son helped load them in there this morning. I got to get them out of there myself and into the building site. Gonna be fun. Oh, and do you like my New York Rangers hat? My friend from Tokyo, Sunil, gave that to me when he visited a few weeks ago. Okay, first step to make this garage door operational is to get some of these handles installed. So when we installed the door the other day, Michael and I, when we put in the bottom panel, we didn't attach the bottom bracket and the wire leading up to the rollers and the spring-loaded shaft up above. And the result is that this bottom panel is pitched out at the very bottom a little bit, and it's preventing me from lining it up with the rails here to get those brackets on. So it's extremely heavy, and what I need to do is literally just edge the door back using the crowbar here so I can get it lined up to put those brackets in. There. I have to thread the cable up alongside the garage door and the rail. Now again, everyone, I bought this garage door used. It's not perfect. It is a fraction. It's insulated. It's the door size that I was looking for, so I was extremely lucky in that sense. And a few nuts and bolts were missing here along the way. Again, not a big issue. You can see I'm threading it up. Probably out of the camera view right now. I'll get the rest of the cable threaded into position when I get my ladders in place, but now I can go ahead and sock that into place. Okay, time to get out the scaffolding and head up top. When installing a cable onto a drum, you have to release the screws that hold the drum in place, that anchor the drum onto the shaft. And there are 2 screws in each drum. They're square-headed screws, and I had to do this manually as opposed to with a ratchet wrench because I don't have any square head sockets. So it took me a little bit of time to loosen these bolts. Once the bolts are loosened, you're then able to move the drum freely, and that allows you to install the cable correctly. I then pull the cable up from below, and the cable itself has a round knob attached at the end, and it hooks into the drum. Once that is hooked in, you're able to rotate the drum and pull the cable up securely and line it up in the grooves on the drum itself. Then tighten down those screws to lock the drum back in place on the shaft. Once I have the cable on the drum and set the way I like it, I'm going to take these vice grips and attach them to the bar to essentially lock the bar in position so that there's no movement in the bar when I go to start working on the drum on the other end, and I don't lose this very basic tension that I've got in the cable at this point. I had to buy myself a pair of winding bars for winding up the springs to the garage door.
Okay guys, my understanding, I have a 10-foot high door. That means for every foot you have to do a full revolution on your spring. I've also seen instructions where you add another revolution. So it's quarter turns. So if it's 10 feet, that means 10 revolutions plus 1, which is 11. So that's 44 turns. Okay, so I have torsioned the spring on the right. I unfortunately did not film that. I'm going to torsion this left spring now. Again, I'm guesstimating, calculating that I've got to do about 11 rotations. That would make 44 quarter turns. But because I've got this space above here, I think for a number of the early turns I'm going to do half turns, and when it starts to get tougher, I'll do the quarter turns. So let's get underway and see how this turns out. So we'll start down here. So that's 2 full revolutions. 5. So that's 13 half revolutions, taking a little bit of a break here. Again, standing off to the side here as much as I can, away from the bars, in case there is an accident and somehow it decides I lose grip and it unravels, that I don't get hit with one of these bars under extreme tension. $15, 16. So that's 8 full revolutions. I've got about 4 more to go. And I'm going to transition to the quarter turns because the tension there is quite strong. So 3 more rotations left to go, so 12 quarter turns. Let me see how I want to do this. 1. 2. 11. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to tighten this up, and we're going to try the door and see how this lifts. Let's go see how this operates.
Garage door is installed and working. Thanks for watching.